All right, welcome everybody. Welcome everyone into this wonderful, mind-boggling masterclass that is about to begin. Today is the day one. So before we begin, I would love to know from wherever the world you are joining us today. If you are watching us on YouTube, make sure to subscribe the channel. If you are here with me in Zoom right now, go to the chat section and let me know in the chat box that from where you are and what are you looking to get out of this masterclass. Spend 1 minute and let's get the engagement going on because that is very important aspect of any masterclass or anything that I do. So spend a little 1 minute and go to the chat box and let me know from where you are. All right, I can see some comments coming in here from Punjab, from India, from Dehradun. That's awesome. Keep bringing those comments. I can see there are a lot of people who are on YouTube also. That is really wonderful, really encouraging. All right, so here we go. Awesome. We have people from Kenya also. That is just simply amazing. Wonderful. We are grateful to have you here. All right, so let me just get into the video. Here we go. All right, here I am. If you can hear me and if you can see my slides and if you can see me, just give me a thumbs up in the chat box. If you're on YouTube, just give me a yes in YouTube or a like and we are all set to go. Anurag is here from Chandigarh. I want to learn how to improve my life. Awesome, Anurag. That's what you will get today. You will get insights, and over the 3 days, you will get ideas that what is exactly required to live the life that you want to live. Awesome. Good to see you, Elizabeth. So the number is going up. That is really wonderful. All right. So there are a lot of people who are connecting with us on YouTube now. Nishant is there on YouTube. Ravi Verma is there on YouTube. Wonderful. I love it. That is absolutely impressive. All right. So thank you so much, guys. I may keep your chat box, maybe a little bit silent for a moment. You may send your comment and you may send your question while I'm going through the content. And at the end, I will be getting back to your question because we will have time for the questions also. All right, so let's begin without any further delay, breaking the paradigm boxes. Now, what does that mean? Now, before we get into the all the hassles and dazzles, the science and psychology, which I would not go in that much detail because I want to simplify these concepts as much as I can through this 3-day masterclass because my objective is not to create people who has a bunch of knowledge in their consciousness. My objective is to create action takers who are ready to suspend disbelief and are ready to go in the pursuit of their dream. Like in the morning today, I was on a coaching call with one of my clients and we were reading a book called Use Care from Price Pritchett. It's a quantum leap formula. And in that book, that word just strikes me again. The author said, wishing, doing, all those are good words, but until or unless you're not positively in pursuit of what you want, you are not growing in your life. So that's what I'm going to recommend you today to do. Be open minded. Look at the box below. I want you to think outside the box for the next 3 days because right now you're programmed and you're conditioned to think with a limited set of mind, with a limited mindset. Whenever you do something, there are already some predetermined thoughts that are going into your head, and those predetermined thoughts, to the very large degree, they control your actions. And then you end up frustrated, feeling why my results are not changing. I have done that, I'm doing this, but still things are not growing. So understand that breaking the paradigm box is all about upgrading your belief systems. It's about keep expanding your consciousness. And how we expand our consciousness? by understanding more better who we are, by understanding what is my purpose, and by being positively in pursuit for the goals that we are aiming and the goals that we are chasing. And I have found out a very specific paragraph for you that I want to read to you. I'm not sure how many of you have read this book or maybe even have heard about this book, but this is one of the best books I have ever found. Like there are many books, but this stands out always, The Power of Awareness from Neville Goddard. And he talks about something very specific right there. He said, now open your ears and open your mind, because if you want to change your life, as somebody said in the beginning, you must understand the depth of this idea that I'm about to explain you right now, right here. Okay. So he said, man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes other than his own state of consciousness. All that befalls a man, all that is done by him, all that comes from him happens as a result of his state of consciousness. A man's consciousness is all that he thinks and desire and loves, all that he believe is consent true. That is why a change in consciousness is necessary before you can change your outer world. Now, what does that mean? That means before we change our income, or before we start enjoying great relationships, before we start enjoying great health, we must change everything that is going right there inside our own head. And what's that? That's where you have to shatter some of your myths that you have about your own potential. There are a lot of myths that we have about the industry, we have about many different things, but to be very specifically, today I'm going to talk about the myths you have about your own potential. I may be sharing some of the myths about, you have about the personal development, you have about the mindset, you have about the paradigm, all that stuff. But most importantly, the myths you have about yourself. So if you are right now watching this masterclass without a pen and a paper, I'll encourage you to go and grab a pen and a paper right now. Do it right now and then let me know in the chat box that I'm ready with a pen and a paper. If you're on YouTube, do the same thing. If you're watching it without pen and paper, go ahead, grab a pen and paper, and let me know in the chat box that yes, I am ready with a pen and a paper. All right, awesome. So Saloni is ready with a pen and paper. That's awesome, Saloni. Let's wait for some few more people to confirm. All right, Jasmeet is ready. Akash is ready. On YouTube, people are ready. Awesome. Wonderful. Deepak is ready. That's great. Enthusiasm makes me feel so happy. So happy. All right. Wonderful. So here we go. Shattering the myths. Now, before we talk about the myths, let me clear the buzz around the word paradigm, because some of you, I know about the paradigm, but some of you might be new with the word, the word paradigm today. Now, what is a paradigm basically? Understand that a paradigm is a mental attitude, or it's a conditioning that you act upon without any conscious thought on your behalf. In other words, to simplify it, I have a remote right now here. Okay. It has two buttons. If you look at this yellow button right there is programmed to just perform two functions. Either I can switch on my AC or I can switch off my AC. This button cannot perform any other function apart from that. In other words, if my AC is on right now and if I press the yellow button, it will off the AC. And if my AC is off and I press the yellow button, it will be on. Similarly, we have programs locked in our mind. And in very certain situations, like those programs are working all the time. But in every situation, those programs forces us to think, act, and behave in a certain way. For example, you may have seen yourself being very confident with a certain group of people, but that as soon as the group changes, there are a different group of people. All of a sudden, you are a very shy person. Why? While on another group, you was very open. You were like flourishing, you are talking, but then in a new group, you're such a shy person. Why? You know why? Because you're not programmed, you're not conditioned, and that is your programming that is causing you to be like that way. I can give you many other examples like that. For example, you might have seen that, you're very good when it's about, let's say, talking to one person at a time, but when you are talking to a group, you may scatter at that time, you may feel nervous, you may feel doubtful about your personality. And that doesn't mean you don't have the knowledge. You might be a professional at your work, but once the situation changes, you feel a little bit of dazzle and hassle, and you're thinking like, oh, what the hell is happening? So the paradigms, in a very simple language, they are set of boundaries. The boundaries we have created for ourselves. And the funny part is that for the most time, those boundaries has been created by our parents, our society, our schools, our colleges, our friends, and our environment. You know why? Because when those boundaries started building, we had no conscious choice on our side. We cannot say no at that time. And our families' beliefs, the beliefs of our parents, the beliefs of everybody around us get directly into our mind, and they become our beliefs. And then for the rest of our life now, we are living a life locked up in those myths. So we are going to shatter those myths today. I'm going to give you a very specific questions to think about later on at the end. But for now, let's begin with the money. Now, think about the money that you have ever earned in a single year. Write that down on a piece of paper. Okay? Write it down right now. Think about the money that you have ever earned in a year. And once you're done, let me know in the chat box. If you're on YouTube, do the same. All right, so YouTube is buzzing. Everybody who's on YouTube, guys, if you're new to our channel, make sure to subscribe it. All right, let me see the chat box. If you're a student, Akash, you may think about something different then. You may not think about money. You choose any other area of your life then. That is very important to you. You may choose that one then. Now think about the money, and if you cannot think about the money, or if you're a student and you have not earned it yet, you think about one of the most important area of your life and look at the results. All right. That's okay, Saloni. If you have just earned in a month, you can think about a month. We will come back to it a little later on. The point here is just to put a figure here so that you started thinking. So if you have done a job, Akash, then you think about what is the money that you have ever earned in your job. All right, good. Now, have you ever thought that why that is the only amount of money I have earned in a year? Or have you ever tried to thought that can I do double or triple? Can I earn double or triple than what I have ever earned in a year? Have you ever tried to think like that way? Or if you have tried, what are the myths you have come across then? What ideas you have started telling yourself then at that time? Think about it and write it on a piece of paper. And if somebody wants to share here in the chat box, you're most welcome to share also. I hope you got my question very exactly. All right. So my question here is, think about the money that you have ever earned a year, and then think about the money that you really want to earn, and then ask yourself a question. When I think about the money that I wanted to earn, what are the dialogues that I repeat to myself? What are those inner dialogues that keep on going in my head? And then write those inner dialogues on that piece of paper that I have told you to have in the beginning. Got it? Everybody, if you got the question, engage with me in the chat box. It is very important, because this is not like any other masterclass where the speaker is speaking blah blah blah, and at the end of the 60 minutes I will say, all right, done. No, it's not like that. Okay, so let's communicate. Sure, I'll repeat the question, Saloni. My question here is, think about the money that you are earning right now, and then think about the money that you love to earn, and then ask yourself a question. When I think about the money that I want to earn, what is my internal dialogues? What is my internal chit chat going on my mind. Think about that internal chit chat and write that down on a piece of paper. I hope you got it clearly now. And I hope everybody is following along the same lines on YouTube. And then keep thinking about it, those limiting, insidious dialogues that are appearing. Now, Akash, when you said chit chat is all about resources, be specific about those resources. Write them down and ask yourself a question whether those resources are available or not. They may not be, they may not seem available to you right now because of n number of reasons, but understand that there is always a way, and we are going to help you to figure that way. That's good, Cure. If you're already earning, then maybe you double it. And then you start asking yourself a question, what I will do if I double it? Okay? Really get engaged into those ideas. Because then we are going to become aware about those myths that we have about our potential in our own thinking, and then we are going to start shattering them. I hope you are thinking about it, because that's the intuition I'm picking up from both Facebook, no, from both YouTube and Zoom here. All right, somebody said 10 crore per month, and internal dialogue is how to earn big money, not possible through job. Absolutely, it's not possible through job. Then you think about what service I can render, Anurag. I believe you have signed up for a session with me in the past, and I told you one thing: to earn money, you got to provide the service that matches the money you wanted to earn. Money is not a game. It's not only going to fall into your lap. If you want to earn 10 crore, you got to provide a service that matches the 10 crore. Even if it is 1 lakh, we have to provide a service that matches 1 lakh. Money is always a reward for the service rendered. So you think about what I am good at, what I am really good at, how I can serve this world and, to make a more better place. What is your uniqueness? Napoleon Hill talks about it in his book Think and Grow Rich. He said, think about what you want, the money you want to earn, and the service you intend to deliver. That's what you have to think about. All right. Now, somebody said, can't earn that much of money. It's not easy. Now, see, these kind of myths are coming into your mind, and understand that those myths or those internal dialogues are not real. Why they're not real? Because there are already enough number of people out there in the world who are making the amount of money that you want to make. Am I right or wrong? I know I'm right. If you want to earn 10 crore, there is somebody who's already making that money, right? If you want to make 20 crore, 100 crore, there are already people who are making that money. So what's the point here? The point here is that if they can do it, I can do it too. But the only point here is, am I really willing to be the best version of myself? And to the best version of yourself, you have to shatter more myths you have about yourself, about your potential, about your personality. Now, you can pick any good personal development book, you can pick any good psychological book, you can pick any good book on mind science. Every single book will tell you one straight fact: the human beings are capable of achieving whatever they want to achieve. But then why many people are struggling? The point here is, people don't understand that we have to put in work to change and alter our mental conditioning. Mental conditioning is not something that is altered like that. Okay, make no mistake about it. You may have found people saying that it took 30 days to build a habit, 60 days to build a habit, 90 days to build a habit. All those data can be proven right by the science, but the point here is the data is different for every unique individual. They may have come to an average data, but the point here is, to alter what is going right there in the subconscious require one characteristics. Napoleon Hill wrote that very, very clearly in his book Think and Grow Rich way back in 1937. And that book is not a fiction. That book has been wrote after studying 500 America's successful men and women. He said, The ability to influence your subconscious mind has its price, and you cannot cheat even if you want to. And the price of ability to influence your subconscious mind is everlasting persistence. What does that mean? That means even if you fail, you get up and you move ahead again. Even if you fail, you get up and you move ahead again, until or unless that idea is accepted as a reality by your subconscious mind. But the point here is that in today's world, we have a lot of advancements going on. There are a lot of different techniques available right there. Those techniques have like we can say that have make things very easier, but still the work has to be done. One thing that you cannot avoid is putting in the work. It's not like that you got the membership of the gym and now automatically your body is going to build up. People treat personal development like that. When you take a membership, you gotta go there every single day. And then you got to work out. You got to nourish your body. You got to have a proper eating habits. Similarly, when nourishing your mind, you got to get logged into study. You got to study every single day. You got to follow your rituals very diligently, and you have to start changing your belief system one day at a time. Now, sometime I tell people to write a same paragraph or maybe a same literature for 90 days, maybe in some cases for a year. That's not an easy job. But at the end of the year, your results will show you the proof. So the point here is that one of the biggest myths you have to shatter for yourself is that it take works. There is no magic wand, although in a year from now, it will seem like that your life is far much better than the other people around you, but that will always be in direct proportion to the work you put in your own personal development, nothing else. And I'm going to share some of the examples right here with you now. I'm going to share some of the great ideas here with you, and they're all about belief system. So just open up your mind and be prepared for it. Now, understand that it's about you and your belief system. When I said shattering the myths, it's all about shattering your old belief systems. There are many of them who are not serving us. One of them is we have just discovered that internal dialogues about money. There are internal dialogues about health. There are internal dialogues about your relationships. There are internal dialogues about every single area of your life. And those internal dialogues are the myths you have accepted consciously or unconsciously, either from somebody else or by your own experience, where you tried something and you failed and you accepted that failure as a reality. So you got to go beyond your belief systems. In other words, you have to suspend disbelief. Understand that this whole universe operates by a law. And I cannot stress this point enough because this is so beautiful. The whole universe operates by a law. And if you fall, or I must say, if you apply and you bring yourself in the same vibration where your desire is, you're meant to attract it. But that requires effort, that requires work. It's not a cakewalk. It's not for people with the attitude who say, all right, I will do it. No, 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 no. You need to have an attitude to bet on yourself. You're the best bet in the whole world that you can bet on. But you got to bet on yourself for a consistent period of time. When I began way back in 2017, or not 2017, it was exactly 2015, I had no clue how my life is going to turn around. But the only thing I had was a desire. And since I has not done, any other things at that time, not much job. So I just shut down everything around myself and I followed the suggestions of my mentors. And I just suspended disbelief and I started doing whatever I could have done at that time. And then things started showing up. Were they miracles? One time they seemed like miracles, but then I started understanding. Now I know there is nothing like a miracle. Miracle is something that we cannot explain, but when you understand the law, nothing is miracle. So you have to work on your belief system. which is very important. Now, what is your belief system? Now, Bob Proctor said something very beautiful about it. He said, our belief system is based upon our evaluation of something. And the more I reevaluate my belief about something, my belief about the situation will change. Now, imagine if you reevaluate your worth, if you reevaluate over and over and over and over again, if you back it up with a positive affirmation, with a systematic study program, where your self belief will be in a year from now, you will need a telescope to look back. But the point here is, no one is ready for a thing until he believes he can acquire it. The wisdom of Napoleon Hill. So you got to believe. How we can believe that we can acquire something? You got to work. It's not like something is going to fall into your lap. You got to work to make believe. And to make believe, you got to study. You got to study every single day. Now, somebody said how to reevaluate. That's pretty simple, but it's not easy. You got to study every single day. You got to lock into a good information, understand about your mind, understand how it functions. And to get very quick results, it's best to find a mentor who shows you a path, because we never ever had enough confidence by at our own. Every successful person who has ever become successful in this world always had a mentor, and the mentor bring the best out of you. You know why? Because mentor always see more potential in you than you can see in yourself. And that is the reason why he or she keep on stretching you. And when they keep on stretching you, that is the time, Deepak, when you reevaluate yourself. Try to do something that you have never done before and see how your evaluation about yourself will improve. Try to do something that you have never tried before, and you see how your self-esteem about yourself will change. So basically, it's the principle of auto-suggestion. You have to keep asking interesting questions to yourself, and you have to keep evaluating yourself by keep becoming better and doing better things in a certain way. So it's about study. We are getting into the day two when we get into the tomorrow, where we will be discussing more in detail about the success formula, which will include all these steps that I'm just putting up a little insights on right now with study and desire and all that stuff. But till then, understand that if you want to be ready, you got to believe. And to believe, you got to study. You know, you may have to study a same book over and over and over and over again for I don't know how many times. I literally don't know. I'm still studying the same books. I study them now and then over and over and over again. With my clients, I study the same books over and over and over and over again. Why? That's what auto-suggestion is. That is conscious auto-suggestion. And I'm consciously and deliberately planting the right ideas into my mind. But you must know what ideas to plant. That is the reason why most people who go to YouTube and who try to follow a lot of many things are struggling. Why? They have no structure. On the day three, we are going to talk a lot about the structure also. Right? So now look at here what Earl Nightingale talks about it. Now this is my favorite, and I think you're going to resonate with it. And I want you to read every single word of this paragraph right there. Either you're on YouTube or you are here Zoom. Read every single word right here. Now, what he said, we tend to minimize the things we can do, the goals we can accomplish. And for some equally strange reason, we think other people can accomplish things that we cannot. I want you to understand that it is not true. You have deep reservoir of talent and ability within you that you can bring to the surface and achieve all that you desire. Now, how many times you have done that? When you have looked at somebody else and you said, oh gosh, I wish I could do like that. I wish I could be like them. Oh gosh, I wish if I can only do that. I believe we all have done that time to time. Maybe some of you have done it many times, but we never learn from it. So the point here is that we have to stop comparing ourselves. Another myth. The myth is right there that somebody else can do it, but I cannot. You know what? If you want to do it, you can do it. It's not about that they are special. It's not about that you're not special. Every single person on this planet is special, but the point here is that, do you really want it or not? It's the want that counts, nothing else. And then this is, I absolutely love it. If we did all the things we're capable of, we would literally astound ourselves. Now, I want you to ask yourself a question. How many of you are really happy with the way you have been working from last few weeks? Do you think from the last few weeks you have been doing everything that you have told yourself that you're going to do? Let me know in the chat box. Are you really happy with the work that you're doing from last 2 weeks? Now somebody said no, no. So I see not absolutely. Now there is one person who said yes. All right. You see, the most number of people are saying no here. Now, why we don't do the thing that we know? Now, somebody said yes and no. All right, we have those patches. But the point here is very common. Why we do that? Now, somebody is here on YouTube also who said no, not happy. Everybody who is saying not happy, for you, it is a time to become a very, a serious and consider the suggestion that I'm about to give you. Somebody said not 100%. Understand that. Why we don't do the things that we're capable of doing? It's simple. It's the paradigm. It's the conditioning. Just like the way this button, it can only perform two functions, either can on and off because it is not programmed. Similarly, we are programmed to waste our day, and we are programmed to lie to ourselves. That's another myth we have to change. Every single day, even if we have not done our 100%, what we say, all right, still it was okay. What if we become disappointed with ourselves? What if we become so dissatisfied with ourselves? You know what will happen? Pretty soon, we will elevate our productivity to a huge level. To a huge level. But the point is there, we don't do it. Why we don't do it? Look at that, what Tony Robbins said. He said, my teacher, Jim Rohn, taught me a simple principle. And this is the simple principle most of us are not actually applying every single day. That is the reason why we're not getting the most out of our day. He said, every day stand guard at the door of your mind, and you alone decide what thoughts and beliefs you let into your life, for they will shape whether you feel rich or poor, cursed or blessed. And the problem is that every day we are not consciously standing as a guard on our mind, and we are allowing some of the negative influences from the friends, from the family, or from wherever in the world to get bang into our mind. And then we end up being like them. We end up being not productive. We end up being not that much active. So if we really want to change our life, we have to change our thinking. That's the first step where every change begins. You know, all the big changes in our life, they begin with the change in thinking. And changing your thinking is not like, once again, it's not like something that's going to happen in a day or something like that will happen overnight. You got to work on changing your thinking every single day. Every single day you have to put in work. Every single day you have to go out there and make things happen. Every single day. If you're not doing it, then surely and probably you may not be getting the best out of your life. So there are a lot of myths you have to shatter, and most of those myths are basically related to your belief systems, because you have to upgrade your belief system. You have to get locked in with some ideas and start building some new, bigger, and better ideas. What I'm going to do today is that I'm going to share a little workbook with every single one of you through email. So in an hour from now, you will receive a workbook, and I want you to work on those questions tonight, so that when we come back tomorrow, we will be prepared with a better mindset to get into the day 2 of the masterclass and to get the most out of it. All right. And keep thinking about the belief system that you want to change, because understand that. And on the third day, we have a surprise and we have an opportunity. But till then, you have to be ready if you want to take benefit of that surprise and if you want to take benefit of that opportunity. Otherwise, that opportunity it will come like that and it will go like that. So till then, you got to work on that workbook that I'm about to send you tonight. You will get it by your email if you have registered for our webinar. If you have not registered for the webinar, later on, I will share a link in the description of the YouTube video. You can go to the link and you can sign up so that I can get your email, or you can just reach out to me on Facebook, WhatsApp, wherever you know me, so that I can send you that workbook. All right. And now we will be spending 5 minutes for the Q&As. If you have any question based upon what we covered today, you're most welcome. We may be taking a lot of questions on the day 3, but on the day 1, we still will be taking some of your questions. So Q&A box is waiting for you. Bring on the questions that you have. If you're on YouTube, you can ask your questions on YouTube. I see there are lots of comment on YouTube. That's really impressive. Wonderful. All right, guys, if you have question with respect to shattering the myths that we covered, you're most welcome. Thank you so much, Chintan, for the gratitude. I'm grateful for you too, for having you here. So if you have questions, feel free to ask your questions in the Q&A box now. Thank you so much, guys. Your comments means a lot to me. And if you have really found this session valuable, bring your family and friends tomorrow along with you, because we are really going to change the whole world. Why? Because we're changing the thinking. And if you play your part, that's the best thing you can do. If you think the session was really valuable, feel free to bring your friends, your family, your spouse, or whoever you want to bring, your boss, your employees. You can bring anybody. All right, so if you have questions, bring it on, or else we will just then wrap up the session. All right, let me see if there is any question on YouTube. I don't see any. All right, so here is one on Zoom. And there is not a question, but it's a comment. Thank you so much, Akash. I appreciate your comments. Thank you. Thank you so much. Guys, if you have a question, bring it on. All right, so we don't see any questions. All right, so there is a question on YouTube from somebody that tells us a little bit more about PaRaDiGm. So for today, I will just explain you a little bit about PaRaDiGm, but tomorrow we are getting a lot into it. All right, like PaRaDiGm is a conditioning. In a simplistic word, like this computer right now on which I'm doing this conversation, that is happening through a Zoom software. So PaRaDiGm is that Zoom software. And if that Zoom software was not there in my laptop, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So similarly, in order to do anything in our mind, in our life, we must have a program installed in our mind that allows us to think that way and act that way. If it is not there, then we are not going to take actions. That's what a PaRaDiGm is all about. Okay. Thank you for bringing that question, Manikiran. Tomorrow we will be getting more into details with the PaRaDiGms and the many other stuffs. All right. All right, guys. So if you have a question, this is your best chance right now to ask that question. If you have no question, you can simply type no question. Thank you so much for all those you who are saying a great session. It was really helpful. And I'm really grateful from the bottom of my heart that it was a great session for you. And there's another question, what has to be done to change a PaRaDiGm? First a decision, then there is a certain things to follow, which will be covered on day 3. So let's keep it as a surprise. All right, so no questions for now. All right then, so I expect there are no questions, but later on if you have questions, you can always ask me in our WhatsApp group, because I will be sending out an email where you can all be a part of our WhatsApp community, which is absolutely free. We are not charging anything for that. So till then, thank you so much for being here today, guys. It was an absolutely mind-boggling day 1 of the masterclass, and I'm looking forward to see you all tomorrow for the day 2 at the same time. Till then, just rock the show. But before we go, I think there's a question on YouTube, what to get back to the routine. All right, so now the questions are coming. All right. So what to get back to routine? All right, to get back to the routine, like in my opinion, we have to do the best we can do. Let's say if your routine include a lot of things, but I'm not sure what kind of personality you are. If you're like me, you will love to start slow, like putting up one thing into order, then another thing into order, then another thing into order. But if you're like someone who like to bring their routine back into like that, you may set up a day along and prepare your routine again. Because once you have a routine and then routine is break down, it is becomes a little difficult, not a very difficult to bring it back. So what you have to do is be ready with the blank sheet of paper and lay out your routine back again, that this is exactly the way I want it, and then make a decision that I'm going to bring it back from when? Tomorrow, today, and then go ahead and bring it back. You have to stretch yourself a little bit, because once the routine is gone, it takes a little bit of stretching in the beginning, conscious stretching, to bring yourself back. But once you will be back 1 2 days, you will be back to the normal. So that's what you have to do to bring your routine back. All right. All right, so our myths and the paradigms are similar. It's like a similar, they're just a different name and the representations. You don't have to worry about much about the myths and that stuff. All right, it's similar. Yeah, myths is just a different name. Paradigm is a different name, but the idea behind is that your chit chatter, chit chatter, chit chatter. All right, like myth is something, if I have to get very technical, is a false idea that you have accepted. Paradigm is like a condition habits. So paradigm is a simply different topic. Myth is just one idea, put them together, it's a program, and that's a paradigm. All right. All right, so I hope I have answered these questions. So now before I again say that, okay, that's done for the session, if you have question, you can type. Let me see if we have a question here on YouTube. We don't see a question on YouTube yet. All right. All right, guys. So thank you so much for being here and making this session extra special session for everybody. And I will see you tomorrow at the same time, 6:30. Be ready. I'm going to send you a workbook. I'm going to send you the link to the group, and it is going to be another mind-boggling session. So till then, take care. Live the life the way you want to live. See you tomorrow.